My name is Ray.
Hi, this is Michael.
And welcome to another episode of Ray's Economics Cluebook. Today, we'll be talking about supply and demand, and we'll be going deeper into equilibrium.
Okay, let's see.
So last video, we talked about supply, and basically touched upon equilibrium, which we talked about, I believe, 2 videos before that. Mm-hmm. And so basically, equilibrium is where supply and demand, the two opposite curves, meet at one point. And this one point dictates how much quantity is produced in the market and at what price is produced at in general. Mm-hmm. And so basically, the law of demand and law of supply are opposites. The law of demand states that a lower price means more quantity demanded, while law of supply states a lower price, less quantity demanded, or a higher price, more quantity supplied. Lower price, lower quantity supplied. Mm-hmm. And so basically, the two slopes are opposites, and they have to meet at one point.
Yeah, a couple things. Law of demand and law of supply are both very logical, very intuitive. One price goes lower, more affordable, so more demand. And law of supply, the price goes higher, of course, more producible, right?
And so basically, this one point is basically where the two forces agree with each other.
Yes, the market clearly.
At the end of the day, we talk about how external factors shift both curves or either curve.
Yeah, so this is very important because a market goes to equilibrium. Actually, we implicitly assume that this is a perfectly competitive market. Yeah. So at the equilibrium point, every producer produces at P star price.
Yes.
And every consumer pays that price.
Yes.
Right? Of course, later on we're going to see what's the consumer surplus and the supply surplus. But then this is a pretty simple model, and it's very intuitive.
And it's usually very effective at examining economics. Mm-hmm. And so, but sometimes we have external factors, namely the government, that affects the equilibrium price and subsequently affects the market. And usually it causes inefficiency, as we will see. Okay. So basically, sometimes we have price floor above the equilibrium price. When the price floor is below the equilibrium price, we have surplus, as we see right here. Mm-hmm. So at the equilibrium, our price is P2. Right here at the point. However, at the usually government set, price floor, we have the higher price at P1.
Yeah.
Now think about it. What happens at a higher price? Well, obviously, suppliers will supply more.
Are willing to supply more.
And consumers will demand less because of loss of demand and loss of supply. And so in this situation, we have producers supplying at Q3 when price floor is at P1. And we have consumers demanding Q1 when price floor is at P1. Yeah. Therefore, we have a surplus because there is more produced than there is demanded.
Yeah, it's actually very typical in the American agricultural products market, and the government usually set a pretty decent price for the producers, so they can produce enough quantity, and then if they cannot sell in the perfectly competitive market, then the government probably buy out.
Yeah, buy out their surplus product.
Yes, but that also results in some inefficiency problems, right? So, like say, number one, it could be unnecessarily superior good products. Okay, so and then number two is probably there's a black market because in this the producers probably say, hey, I don't want to set price P1. I could be price P1 a bit lower than price P1 just to sell that to you. I can supply more, right? Because they are willing to take the illegal action
because it have an easier time finding consumers.
Yeah.
So the other situation we have is a price ceiling, a maximum price. A price floor is a minimum price. A price ceiling is a maximum price.
Yeah.
And so a price ceiling, when effective, is below price equilibrium. And so what happens here? Well, remember, we have equilibrium at P2 right here. Our P1 is lower than P2. We have a lower price, a price ceiling. A price ceiling, and in this case, a lower price causes there to be more quantity demanded because of law of demand, but less quantity supplied because of law of supply. So therefore, when we have a larger quantity demanded than there is supplied, we have a shortage because there is not enough to satisfy everybody who demands the good, at the current price level in the price ceiling. So we have a shortage.
Yeah, it's actually very common in the metropolitan rental market.
Right.
Yeah, like for example, like San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's so expensive, the government wanna promote justice or fairness in the market, so they put the price ceiling here. But that actually causes more problems.
Yes.
For example, let's say
we have one inefficiently low quality because producers or landlords, when they see they can only sell at Q1 because they're producing only a P1 at such a low price, not as profitable, and they're like, oh, whatever. So I'm just gonna make a lower quality.
Yeah, in unnecessarily low quality, so very poor maintenance.
Yes.
For instance, yeah.
And the other situation, as Michael mentioned, we have another black market because producers they want more profit. Landlords they want more profit. So in the black market, they'll probably sell their
maybe a little bit higher than P1 because there's no problem to find rent.
Yeah.
To find the tenants.
Yeah.
Because the tenants can afford actually at the equilibrium price PE, which is much higher than P1.
Yes.
Yeah. So that motivates the landlords to take illegal actions and then to have the so-called black markets, right? Yeah.
And so at the end, they remember what we learned last two is that we synthesize all this data because we looked at an infographic, a graph. And the graph can tell us a lot. The graph not only tells us our equilibrium, it tells us what the effects of price floor and price ceiling is just by looking at these two lines and the price level.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's the beauty of the economics because within it's all about graphics. You can understand and you can infer a lot of information right from the graphics. I think that's really great, and that's the most beautiful part about modern economics. That's my personal opinion. Okay, so thank you for your presentation. I think that's great, and I look forward for your next episode.
Thank you. See you next
See you guys. Bye bye.